Welcome to CarSceneKorea. I introduce newly released Genesis Hyundai and Kia cars. And as you saw from the thumbnail, the car I have behind me today is 2026 Hyundai all-new Palisade, and I will be giving you the precise measurements inside out of the vehicle. If you've been watching my channel, you guys probably know that I already have covered it. I actually made a stupid mistake in that video, and thanks to the subscriber who found out that mistake. So this is the laser measurement device that I used, and if you take a look at the top left here, there is a button where I can actually decide if I want to measure from the tip of this laser or from the bottom. And I did start out from the bottom, but in between my shots, I must have touched that button and changed it, so it did alter the measurement all throughout. So most measurements were actually indeed measured from the bottom of this device, which I intended on doing, but there were some measurements measured from the tip. So I decided I would do another whole new video on it. It is more clear and correct. But I know you guys are going to be asking me. I'm here at Hyundai Motorstudio Goyang. There are several motor studios here in Korea, but this is the largest one. I mean, you can probably just see from their parking lots. There are latest Hyundai cars and Genesis here on display, and some of the cars are actually hidden under the curtain, as you can see. Also, those classic cars from the old time. And these cars you can come check out and experience here at Hyundai Motorstudio Goyang, so do not miss it out. Let's jump right back into the purpose of today's video, the measurement of this all-new 2026 Hyundai Palisade. And you see there are tons of Ioniq 9s and Palisade on my background, together with the Ioniq 5Ns actually. So all of these cars are the cars that I really want for myself, be it Ioniq 9 or Ioniq 5N or the Palisade. Of course, I have videos on all of these cars on my channel. I recently also uploaded the comparison video of the Ioniq 9 and Palisade because these two are the flagship SUV of each category, the ICE internal combustion engine and EV SUV. So let's get started with the front of the vehicle, and I want to measure this, the plastic cover, not the lowest point, because the lowest point is going to be this plastic cover you see underneath, right? So measuring from the tip of the silver front bumper, 0.267, and that is in meters. I use metric system here in Korea. I will convert this into the US measurements. So measuring from the tip of this plastic piece, so that is 0.235. If you take a look at this part right here, there is also another cover that's even lower than this rubber lip, if you will, and that is the part that actually makes all that noise in the world when you go down steep uphill or downhill, or when you're pulling in and out of your driveway. Usually it's always this guy, and the measurement on that is 0.203. 0.203. Because I have it here, I also want to measure this side mirror right here, 1.145. And this is the important part, the side skirt. So let me measure the silver part right here, and also underneath of this undercover. So you see where I'm measuring here? The very lowest point, that is the undercover. So it is 0.215 for the undercover and 0.284 for the side skirts. So let me measure one more time, but this time I want to measure somewhere far here. That way I can find out, see if there is any difference, but I doubt it. So the silver part, and this is the tricky part because the undercover is actually shaped a little different towards the end here. So I will measure this. And moment of truth, 0.284 versus 0.295 towards the rear, and 0.215 for the undercover on the front, 0.216 for the rear undercover. So there certainly is going to be somewhat human error. However, you can see it's very similar. Since it's a little bit off with the side skirts, let me actually measure all different 4 points of the side skirts and see what the number we get. So I'm gonna measure one all the way to the front, and one right over here, and on the second row door, and the end of the side skirts. And I have the four measures here: 0.278, 0.289, 0.291, 0.293. And let's go measure the trunk. And you guys know that I intentionally have that angle for you guys. I mean, just look at these guys, right? So you see where it is carved for the luggage cover. So I am attaching this right there and then measuring the same spot. There we go, 1.163, 1.163. And the height from the center light to the tip of the trunk, 0.789, 0.789. So measuring from this speaker unit to the other side, right there, so located right above, and that's where I am pointing. You see the dot, 1.364 meters. And from the tip of the trunk to the third row seat, as you can see right there, 0.555. And when you fold the third row seats down, I mean, very convenient, everything motorized, as you can see. And when they are folded down, measuring the same height from here to the back of the second row seat, 1.26 meters. And then from wheelhouse to the wheelhouse, so right next to the hook right there, and laser pointing the same spot. Let me do it 2 times because it's a little shaky. So 1.157 and 8, so 1.158. And from the top to top on the second row seat, so that's where I am pointing the laser against the cover here from the third row seat, right in front of the speaker, and same thing, pointing there. Let me do it twice, a little shaky, but same measurement, 1.416. So let me get inside the second row seat. So from this door to door, so right underneath the curtain here, located the measurement and pointing the same spot right there. Let me just do here and there so I can average it out. 1.544 and 1.546. So because the car gets the wide panoramic sunroof, it has narrower headroom compared to a non-sunroof Palisade. So keep in mind. And also there's a lot of curvature here and there. And measure it from this top to right over there, 1.2 meters. Just so you know, I have more than the size of a fist for the headroom here, and I am 175 centimeters tall, so there's plenty of headroom on the second row seat. So from the top of the headrest to the headliner, it is about 0.241. So that's how much my head actually sticks out from the headrest. That's about a fist size. And for the rest of the size comparison, I actually have done so with the previous model Palisade. So I am measuring from here to right over there. It is 1.571, and it wasn't that much different from the previous model, to be honest. Let me measure the length between the passenger seat and the driver's seat. And let me do some multiple readings here so I can average it out. Also keep in mind that this car is a 9-seater, meaning having the third seat on the first row even. So the seat is going to be smaller than the 7-seater Palisade, meaning it is going to have further distances between the two. So it's 0.36 or 0.35 on an average. So one of the important thing, the measurement from the trunk, I am actually measuring this very tip. There is also another plastic part that's sticking out, but I am giving you the measurement here. It is 1.902. And from this top lid, it's not going to be the highest point of the car when you have the trunk open, but let me measure from this to here as well. And that is 2.044. Again, it's not the highest point. I want to say about 10 centimeters more extra for the highest point of the Palisade with the trunk open. So this part here, it's actually going to be taller for the highest point of the Palisade, but should give us some good idea it's about 2.012 meters. So I want to say about 2.2 meters of clearance from the ground up, then you should be good. But you might be really there because you see how concave the trunk is. And let me close the trunk, see if that is going to stick out a whole lot more. And oh yes. So this is where I measured, and you see how curved it is. So do give about, yeah, I definitely want to say do give about 20 more centimeters of room for that top clearance. All right, so that's it for today's video, making up my stupid mistake that I made before. I apologize, and I thank you very much for pointing that out. And honestly, I didn't even notice that at first because it was precisely measuring the height it was supposed to. I mean, I did test it with my height, something like this. You see, I am 175 centimeter tall, and it's reading 182 right now because of my shoes. You see my shoes? So that's how I kind of configured it. But again, I made a stupid mistake and I just gotta go. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe CarSceneKorea if you did, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.